has been 9 months since we last had a proper recording, and it's been crazy, honestly. A lot has happened, but I will not bore you with the details of it all. From this point on, I would like to call these podcast episodes as between chapters kasi maarte ako. And these are the spaces naman where we would just invite people over, have some honest conversations, and really explore ideas together. When we talk about humanizing strategy, eventually we will naturally touch on the topic of longevity. It's not just about longevity of the business, but also the human beings that are running it. In a while, I will take you to a conversation that I had with two ladies, and we'll talk about the sustainable mindset. We'll explore the 12 principles behind it, and more importantly, how will it show up? Let's dive in. Welcome to the Brief with Dani. So grateful to have you guys here. For the benefit of our viewers, would love for you to introduce yourselves and what has been your background about sustainability so far.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Dan, for that opening. So, my sustainability journey started when I really engaged with this partner of ours from the USA, Florida, who's also a professor and an author of a book called Sustainability Mindset We Need to Talk. There was one question she asked. So, what are you doing with your time? Why am I here for? And that really hit me. And so I took a certification from her, and that's really when my journey with sustainability started back in 2024.
Wow, very fresh and very new.
Yes.
How about you, John?
Yeah, hello everyone, and hello to the viewers of Dani. So deeply honored to be here with these two ladies and to all of you. The sustainability actually started when I was in college. I was part of the junior ecologist movement. We
Wow.
really shout at the street and really dance and do theatrical activities just to inform the public about the earth. And then later on, I'd been also employed in a company wherein there is a 90-hectare forest. Of course, when I became a coach, that's also the beating in my heart that if there is some kind of a coaching like that, I
Yeah.
really would like to have it and integrate that as well in my practice. And then I enrolled that regenerative leadership.
That's so lovely. So, ever since talaga, very close to nature na.
Yes.
Practical.
Yes.
But very
Yeah.
curious, no? Like how, kasi mindset is a very broad topic, diba? And how is having a sustainable mindset different from a regular mindset?
Okay. So let me share with you a bit about the book that Dr. Isabel Romanowski did. It was rooted in her pioneering research into this. She coined this term sustainability mindset, which began with her doctoral dissertation at Columbia University in the late 2000. And she interviewed executives and senior leaders at global companies known for their sustainability initiatives. So it was nice to know that her inspiration really was she wanted to know what motivated leaders to make a positive impact to society. So the core problem was motivated by the realization that the complex global challenges cannot be solved solely by technology or governments. Instead, the real bottleneck is the dominant conventional mindset. For example, what I learned from the PMAP GMM just a week ago is that some leaders bring with them a mindset of no short-term gains, just mere profit. Some they come into the space with hopelessness. And they said that many still are into overly competitive mindset. So Isabel defined sustainability mindset as a way of thinking and being that is expressed in actions for the greater good.
Are there several kinds to it? Parang I'm trying to understand how does it show up.
To me, in a simplistic term, is whatever you are going to say will always come back to you.
Mm.
So it's not I, but it is us. So reflecting on what Ruby said, that it's really the beingness. We have to come back to who we are as human beings, that we are not the ones who is over and above nature, but we are part of nature. Whatever we are going to do with nature, that impacts us. You think not only of yourself, you think also that you are part of others. You are part of the environment. It's really thinking about your beingness rather than your doingness. Who are you in nature?
And
Yes.
you parang every action or every word that you do, what's the impact to what surrounds you?
But as we speak about this, when you asked how does this translate into the day to day, so that's where Isabel really came from in her interview with these leaders. And then she put together all of these responses in her interviews and she came up with 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are ecological worldview, systems perspective, spiritual intelligence, and emotional intelligence. So these are just the arenas by which she's able to group these principles together. And the principles are aspects of these pillars. They prove to be very useful to address the complex mindset. They are the pathways that can guide us to review our assumptions, our beliefs, and looking at ourselves and the world from new perspectives. So, here's a few of the principles. Eco literacy just means understanding the state of the planet that allows us to be more fully aware of the challenges that we have. Then, principle number 2 is my contribution. Ibig sabihin, when we identify ways in which we unintentionally contribute to the problem, you can say, we're doing things in our homes that we are unintentionally contributing to unsustainability. Number 3 is long-term thinking. I think that's easy to understand because, of course, organizations and leaders, they would want profits now
Yes.
without thinking of the impact long term. Both and thinking, it's great to really explore this principle because it's fun to have both and thinking allows us to understand the paradoxes,
Yeah, and the duality of the
duality of that we can have creative solutions that are inclusive of all perspectives, right? The principle that I picked up also from Jack earlier is flow in cycles, meaning there are no linear processes in nature. It flows in a cycle of birth, growth, death, and
yes,
rebirth.
definitely.
Yeah, regeneration. Then principle number 6 is interconnectedness. Principle number 7 is creative innovation. This is, I think, where today, for example, when we talk about resilience in organizations, about constant creativity, innovation, and experimentation. But when we neglect the non logical, rational wisdom in us, we are missing critical information. So that's just what we want to be able to create an awareness on creative innovation. Reflection, I think, is very and is understandable for us if we practice to pause, to ponder the situation and implications before jumping into action. Maybe we can become more sustainable. Of course, principle number 9 is self awareness. Principle number 10 is oneness with nature. And the two last principles would be around the spiritual realm, which is purpose and mindfulness. When she put all of this together, these are some of the principles that these innovative, leaders who lead the pack carry with them so that they're able to integrate sustainability in the way of doing in their businesses.
It's so lovely because we do planning. Ang pinaka-challenge ko to instill to the people would be, we actually have limited resources, ha? We actually have limited budget, ha? We actually have, our people has limited energy also. So parang, it's having that collective mindset na aligned to these principles.
So, to that, sustainability mindset is really our operating system. Ano ba yung nangyayari dyan? What are you really embodying?
Correct.
No, so and that becomes really you. No, your beingness. No, that we will be able to see these practices because that's what you believe in. That's who you would like to be seen. No, so that's who you would like to create impact to.
And on that note, siguro last question for us. what can leaders start and stop doing tomorrow or tonight after they view or see this podcast so that they can embody the sustainable mindset and principles that we have just talked about?
Siguro for me, as simple as your energy. For example lang, conducting training. Are we going to conduct training because of hours or we are going to conduct training because of impact? For us coaches, like Ruby and I, we would love to have 2 hours, for example, but it is very impactful rather than an 8-hour training. But a lot of information that cannot be digested anymore instead of just
Right.
spending few hours, but it's very, very impactful. So I think that's one. Second is words. What kind of words are we using? For example, maybe others will react on this. Diagnose. Diagnose, when we are going to use the word diagnose, we are looking at the problem. But people are not problem. We have to appreciate the individualities and how these individualities can complement. So instead of diagnosing, we can deepen or deconstruct, right?
Deconstruct.
Yeah. Because deconstructing is really understanding what's really
What
there
you
instead of
oh,
diagnosing.
yep. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Instead of using the word diagnosis, it's
Mm-mm.
looking at problems and people are not problems. So I
Yeah.
think that those are the words that we use, the energy that we are having or extracting or not. I think those are two examples that we can really start and stop.
Totally agree with you, Jack, in terms of words. In fact, I have an example. Two words that have exactly, I think, the same meaning, but totally, in terms of sustainability, the opposite is execute. And many people always use my execution is, or there's a problem with the execution,
Right.
as opposed to implement or deliver. So
Yeah. Or
execute
right.
and deliver are totally opposite, but they have the same meaning. You know, you want to improve on execution or you want to improve on delivery. Diba? So execution, ganun yun. Pero delivery is giving birth. Pero pare meaning.
Yeah.
So
I
in
agree.
my case also, I agree, Jack, that it begins with us. The change really starts with us, with ourselves. We bring with us our thinking and our being as we explore sustainability. But the impact is what we collectively also can make and how we can shape a better tomorrow. And the tomorrow, maybe next week, the UN Secretary General, his name is Antonio Gutierrez. In his words, he said that unless we change our mind, we cannot change the world. Is not only about institutions and processes, it's really in the first instance is about our mindset. And so if you ask me what should leaders do, the clock of the planet is ticking, no? Maybe a reflection on what is it that we want to do with our one and precious life.
I agree with that. Kasi I do believe that words create worlds. It does stick with you from experience, especially when it comes to like labels and adjectives, quite sensitive to that. And I like that Jack also mentioned the difference between the diagnosis and deconstruction because diagnosis does imply that something is wrong with me as a person versus it's something that, oh, like it would make me feel more defensive rather than me being leaning into what we're gonna do or like the solution that we're gonna come up with. I think with that, any last words or any promotions from the ladies that you would like to note, something to look forward to for our audience in the upcoming weeks?
Thank you for this opportunity, Dani. We just have to remember that skills have a lifespan. So, but impact is really creating legacy. So on May 13, we are going to have an in-person international coaching week at SMX Aura,
Mm.
BGC. And the theme there is Sustainable Coaching Nations.
Wow.
The focus of this, since as you said, it's a big word, the focus here is integrating coaching in the systemic and cultural fabric of our society in the age of AI. So that will be the focus of that. So we invited nation builders coming from the schools, coming from the corporate, coming from the producers, and of course, coming from the coaches and the government agencies, because sustainability is not a solo act. It is really a collective. So, so if everyone can join us on May 13, I hope you, Dani, will join us. Ruby will be there with us. No, Ruby is also past president of the International Coaching Federation Philippines chapter. So if you can join us, then we can really bring together our collective mindsets, ideas, and practices to really make our nation a beautiful place to live, not only today, but beyond.
How about you, Ruby? Any promotions or anything to look forward to in the upcoming weeks?
Yes, I echo the invitation of Coach Jack here. We hope to see you all in the free webinars next week of the International Coach Federation International Coaching Week, as well as the face to face session. And also in my own organization, Leadership in Motion, we are running the first ever ICF Sustainability Coach Certification Program. It's an 8 session program. So, whether you're a leader, a sustainability advocate, sustainability officer of your organization, and a coach wanting to get certified on sustainability coaching, just connect with me, Ana Emilia Ruby Palma, either on LinkedIn or in Facebook.
Yeah, and we'll take note of that. I am sure that the event on May 13 will be a success. With that, thank you for this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Yay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
So, how was that conversation? What did you think? What are your thoughts? What are your insights? Is there anything that stayed with you? Because we often think about sustainability as like an external checklist that we need to like check or like cross out. But as we saw today, right, it's more of an internal operating system of how we behave and how we move through this world. And it's the lens through which we make sense of our resources, our time, our energy, and our impact or contribution to society. Comment down below, perhaps, what's one sustainable practice that you will start doing today? Thank you so much for being here. This is the Brief with Dani, and I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.